Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. My name is Rachel Costello. I'm a regenerative health detox practitioner. I have a background in Ayurveda, and I'm really passionate about helping people really get to the root cause of their symptoms. And I'm going to have everybody mute when they come in. Thanks. And in our community, we really like to educate about what's really going on with soil and the chemicals that we are exposed to on a daily basis without even really knowing about it, and really just like what regenerative health is. And so regenerative health is coming back into our design. We are designed to regenerate at every single level, in every single way. So when we cut our hand, our body heals. And it heals fast. And sometimes you can see in a little kid, they heal like super fast, right? And then as we age, it seems like things get a little bit harder to heal. And that's not because our bodies isn't like ran out of that design. It's because, oh, there you go. I see your connected audio. Good job. It is because we get toxic buildup in our systems, and we need to learn how we can promote our body's natural detoxification processes throughout our entire life and open up our elimination pathways always. So one of our three main ways that our body eliminates waste is through the bowels, which is all of our food waste, and then also some waste that comes up from some of our larger organs like our liver. And then our second way our body eliminates waste is through our kidneys via our urine. And that is a big one that a lot of people don't really understand, that all of our cells, our trillions of cells that make up our body, eat and poop just like we do, and they have a lot of waste. And this waste needs to be eliminated via the kidneys. And then if those two elimination pathways are closed, our skin is going to be the one that starts really taking the brunt of trying to just expel toxic waste. So that's when you see many different skin conditions, from dry skin to psoriasis, eczema, acne, all those different kind of things. And so that's a really, really good reflection of what is going on in our internal environment, is how our skin is showing up for us. And so what these elimination pathways do is just allow our body to stay in perfect harmony of an alkaline pH. So as a human species, our blood is a 7.4 pH. And it needs to stay there. Our body does everything it can to stay at that pH. And because if we would die if our blood altered. And so what our body does is it's so beautifully designed, and it keeps our blood at that level, which means it's buffering any other acids that are coming in from what we eat, what we drink, what we put on our skin, and even the thoughts that we think, or even the outside, the environments that we are have a certain effect on this pH of our body. And so when we're taking in more acids than we can eliminate, our body has to buffer these acids in one of four ways. It will either collect water and hold on to it, just stuff those acids right in there to buffer. It will hold on to fat, very, very, a little thing of fat, and stuff that acid right in there. Cholesterol is another form of fat, but that's another thing that our body will do to combat excess acids. And it will also, if your body is not doing one of those things well, if buffering that way, it can leach calcium, because calcium is a really, really alkaline mineral. And so our body needs this alkalinity to really, really thrive and stay in this regeneration mode. And it needs our elimination pathways open so that we can continually get rid of waste, right? So that's what we like to do. And one of the biggest things that we do here in this community is really supply the body with all of its micronutrient needs, all of the amino acids, all of the gut healing and sleep support and nervous system support that it needs to get into this regeneration mode and to supply you with everything it needs. Because what we have learned is our soil is about 1% nutrient dense here in the United States. And that means that by the time that your food is grown in soil that's not healthy, and then it's picked early, maybe 2 weeks before it's ripe, and then put on a truck, and then put in the warehouse, and then in the back of the store, to the front of the store, to your shopping cart, to your fridge, to your body, it's even depleted much further. So we are dealing right now with a overinflamed state of being, and overtoxic and undernourished. And so that's what we like to get both of those things back into action. So we work with really, really high quality superfoods that are grown in healthy soils. They are vine ripened. Everything is wherever the farms are, which are mostly in Utah, are picked on site and processed that way in a way that preserves the nutrients. It's like the most ancient way of preserving food is actually dehydration, and that's the method. So it's wind dehydrated in a beautiful, beautiful way that I won't describe here because it will take too long, but I just learned about it when I was at the owner of Purium, Dave Sandoval. We just had a retreat there, and he had this beautiful explanation of how they dreamed up this dehydration process. It was so cool. So, but just so you know, it's like state of the art, and it's also like an ancient form of really preserving our food, vine ripened, picked there, dried on site, and then made in a way that when you add water, it comes alive and it's very easily absorbable for our bodies. And our body really, really needs that because of something that we've been really dealing with in this, in our day and age, is chemical toxicity. And one of them in particular is called glyphosate. And it is so hard on the body. It acts as an oral antibiotic. And our body are trillions of cells, but we're also like 10 times more that in bacteria. So when we are inundated with something that's an oral antibiotic every day without even really knowing it, it's on all of our inorganic food, and it's in 75% of our air and water supply. So it's kind of scary how much it is. And I actually grew up on a farm, or not in a farm, in a farm town. And I just went back there last weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like driving through the gravel roads, and all I could think of like was how much sprays are like on those fields day in and day out and day in and day out. And I live in the city in Minneapolis here now, but it's not like we're separate. You know, that's 3 hours away. Those farms are 3 hours away. There's tons of chemicals sprayed down there. My mom's literally telling me every other week that someone has cancer. It's not separate, right? But just because we live 3 hours away doesn't mean we don't have, it's in the air. You know, it's like it's sprayed so much right now that it's actually quite scary. So we're a huge, I'm going to give you all this information, but we have solutions. So I get so passionate about the sprays because of everywhere that I am because of my community that I grew up in. And it's really causing some deep damage to our nervous systems. It's a neurotoxic chemical and a deep injury to our gut. And so it creates holes in our tight junctions of our gut lining. And this is a big problem because what we take into our food goes through a process, and our body absorbs the nutrients and then it eliminates all of the waste. But when we have holes in those tight junctions, it's like the food matter is going straight into our system unregulated, and our body's having this histamine response, like this reactive response causing inflammation because it's not supposed to be happening. And so one of our products is called Biomedic, and it greatly reduces our reaction because it's starting to pull that tight junction back together and allowing it's proven to remove the chemical glyphosate from our body. So it's allowing our body to come back into regeneration, like I was talking about, and eliminating as we should so that our body can regenerate it as it should. So I hope that gives you a good overview. And now I'm going to open it up for Q&A, and just let me know what's going on and how I can help direct, and hopefully I can answer all the questions that people have. And if not, we can find someone in our community that does, because we are all super passionate about really getting to the root cause of what's going on and helping you at that deep level. Okay, Kimberly, you have your hand up first.
Is there a guest here? I'll let them go if anybody has a guest.
Sure. Della?
Sorry, I'm in the mute. I do. Dee Ross is here, and I believe, are you a certified nutritionist? Is that correct? I can't hear you.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm still muted. Yes, I am an integrative nutrition health coach.
Awesome.
Yes, which is something that I'm actually looking into myself. But you were saying that your son has been having some reoccurring health issues that have been kind of cropping up, and there's just kind of a missing piece of something. She's done a lot of, based on your post, I saw that you had done a lot of care, obviously, up to this point.
Yeah, it started about around the 9-month mark. He's almost 2 now. He'll be 2 at the end of December. But around 9 months, they started, they began becoming worried about his weight. But this was after a series of like tons of like viruses. So he had parainfluenza 3, RSV, and COVID all back to back. And of course he lost weight because I mean he was just like super sick during this time. So they diagnosed him like failure to thrive, which I never thought he was failure to thrive. He started crawling at like 7 months, and he was never like failing to thrive in any area except weight. And my husband and I are both like small people, so I never thought like there's an issue. But since then he's just like been sick constantly. And I'll say back, we were referred to growth and development, and I went just to get all the doctors off of our back. Well, then about in August he started these vomiting and high fever episodes, I guess you could call them, because no one can tell me what's going on. I've taken him to Children's ER. We've been referred to an immunologist and allergist since April, but we won't see anyone until November, like 2 more weeks. So anyways, during this time, like for instance, the past 5 days, he's vomited 4 of those 5 days and just has had like some fever in those days too. So something's clearly got his immune system revved up. No one can tell me what's going on. We've had tons of blood work done. Nothing shows up. I mean, he's like borderline anemic, doesn't really, I mean, I am too. I have celiac and all this other crap. So, and I do have an MTHFR gene mutation, and I'm homozygous. So I know he at least has one of those. So I know he probably has issues with detoxification as is. And so this was like always my thing. I was like, is this mold toxicity? Like, I need to know what's going on. Like, but no one can really give us answers. And the chiropractor did some muscle testing on him today, and he's not testing for mold or anything like that. So, I mean, no one can really tell us what's going on. But tried pretty much everything at this point. He doesn't seem to be reacting to any particular type of food. We've been gluten and dairy free since day one. We don't vaccinate. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to do everything right, and he's still sick. So it's very disheartening at times.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for sharing all of that too. It sounds like a really hard road. I have a 2-year-old also, and it's scary when they're sick and you just are trying to do all the right things. So it sounds like to me, with the high viral load and the fever and the vomiting, that his body's really actually doing what it's supposed to be doing and trying to like get rid of something that's going on, right? It's amazing that you're gluten and dairy free. I think that's huge. I think if you weren't, you would be probably experiencing much, much worse at this point. But I do want to ask what he is eating besides that.
So, I mean, for the most part, he'll really only eat like fruits and some vegetable. Like, I mean, he likes broccoli, but he doesn't like a lot of vegetables. So he does like, he likes rice. So occasionally we'll do just like jasmine rice, brown rice. Okay, hold on. We'll do meat. I feed him what we eat, and he only eats a little bit of that. And we pretty much are primarily paleo.
Okay.
Hold on. Daddy's on his way. Just hold on.
Okay. So I think that I'm really excited that you're here because I feel like he's gonna thrive on getting these superfoods in his body. So number one, I would get the Power Shake and the Epigenius Kids and just try in various forms getting the nutrition in his body. So the Power Shake is it's like 97% of our micronutrient needs for the day. It's super alkalizing in the body, and it's really, really good for just getting everything that our little kiddos need for their bodies to develop, right, and their nervous systems. And then the Epigenius Kids has something in there called Biomedic, which you mentioned, you're celiac, and what we're experiencing now, and I'm not saying that you're not celiac, but a lot of people are just really actually allergic to chemicals is what's going on.
Yeah, and that's another. So my chiropractor basically just diagnosed me with celiac based on symptoms alone, because the doctors just like weren't taking me seriously at that time. And so sorry, I can barely concentrate.
No, you're good. You're totally good.
So in the past, I'd had like tons of colorectal surgeries and GI issues. And it wasn't until I eliminated gluten that I actually began my own healing journey and kind of got started on this whole process. So yes, I know exactly what you're saying. So I don't know if it is like GMO wheat but I mean, I can't tolerate it whatsoever. So
totally. Exactly. And it's like, it's not good for us anyway. So you're good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. It's just very inflammatory in general. So I mean, for that reason, I've just avoided it for my children as well. And my 4-year-old.
What's your name? What's your name? Hello. Hi. Hi.
My 4-year-old had the markers for celiac, and he was like 14 times more likely to develop it. So just from a very young age, we just said we're not going to do any of that since I had major issues. And my blood test was negative, but and I never had the biopsy done. And I feel like that's the only real way to know if you have celiac. But anyways,
right. Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can, if it's in your wheelhouse, I would do 100% organic. I would focus mainly on fruits for him. I wouldn't even be too concerned about veggies because you're going to be getting a lot of that in the Power Shake and the Kid Shake. The Kid Shake has something called Biomedic, which is going to help his gut come back into balance and remove those chemical pesticides. You can also drink it. I drink it all the time. Okay. So I would do the Kid Shake and the Power Shake for him. I would get him on the In Focus, which is an adrenal support to really help his body coming back into balance. And because you're not seeing anything in the blood, it's a really, really good sign because it means that the body is really, really fighting to keep whatever's going on in the tissues so that it doesn't get to the blood. You're doing all the things to get there ahead of time. So I just really commend you for just doing your great mama work. You're doing so amazing. And so In Focus, Power Shake, Kids Shake, work with them, like try to do one full Kids Shake a day, a serving of the In Focus, and as much of the Power Shake as you can get in him. Like a adult serving is 5.5 tablespoons. I would just, do less and hopefully he can tolerate it. And there's other ways to use it. So like sometimes my kids don't like the Kid Shake, but they love it. And then they'll be like, I don't want it. And then I'll put it in these little like date balls and they'll get it that way. And so it's just kind of getting creative with you as a mom. I would, if you're open to it, actually just take a break on the meat for him. It's hard for his body to digest. And it's not, and I feel like there's probably some kind of high parasite load, which is causing the viruses to really get out of hand. And so the meat's just going to continue to kind of feed that. And I know you're worried about his weight, but trust me, like you can get all you need from fruits and these superfoods, and he needs to get that healed first before you choose to add that back in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
And
then-
I'm really not worried about his weight. I mean,
Yeah, great.
they were more worried about his weight than I was.
And the one thing I would do outside, Della, are you the one who's helping? Okay, you popped off, but I'm going to tell you. So it's,
I just typed it out too, Rachel.
okay, perfect.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
I'm
you.
so sorry.
No, I saw it. I saw it. You're good, girl.
My phone died and I just had to quickly recharge it. So I
It's
apologize.
okay. That's okay.
But I knew you were in good hands. So anyways,
Yes. And I just want to mention one thing that's actually outside of Purium. There's a beautiful, beautiful line called BioRay Kids. And I think you should get on the Happy. It's a black walnut hull. It's a really, really gentle parasite kind of removal made for kids.
Okay.
So that's my recommendation.
Okay.
And
And
this is all recorded too, so you can have access to this later. You'll get the link from Della so that you can see our notes too while you're trying to type and hold your little man.
And I think it's pretty interesting too, because he really only eats fruit. Like that's the only thing he wants. So I think intuitively he knows,
yes.
the only kind of meat he'll ever eat really is chicken, and that's only occasionally, but
Right. So you don't even have to do too many changes, just like getting creative and instrumentally, getting these things in. So if he likes smoothies, they're really easy things to put in a smoothie and they don't even really know they're tasting something different. But yeah, I think you're going to have really good results just adding these things in and doing and loving him up.
well, thank you. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Yeah, you're doing great, Mama.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, if anyone else wants to come off?
Della, did you have another question?
yeah, that's okay. I'll voice message you after this, D, okay?
Cool. Okay, can I change directions and go to a big kid?
Yes.
Rachel? Okay,
Yes.
so she's 15. Breaks my heart because it sounds like me 32 years ago when I talked to her mom about her story. But massive digestive issues to the point where like teachers think she's skipping class, but she's in the bathroom with diarrhea. She's a sophomore in high school. She missed a huge chunk of her freshman year, and 8th grade was just a mess because of the other stuff that was going on. But interesting thing is she actually was born with some hearing loss. So I was listening to something that, I don't know, Rita had done a while ago or whatever, but so I'm just going to list them off. A lot of mental health issues too. Like, so we know there's major gut things. 2 different naturopaths, chiros, have said they see like kidney issues and crazy long periods for a 15-year-old, like 10-day periods for a 15-year-old. Lots of headaches. She's got something called OAS, like the oral allergy symptoms. Like she doesn't test positive for allergies, but when she eats apples, you'd think that she like is having an anaphylactic reaction or a huge physical reaction. And just an interesting side note, mom grew up on a farm. Grandparents are beef farmers. And so I told her I'd share this recording with her. But just super interesting that this was me, like I said, so many years ago. And I shared something on my Facebook stories, and she's like, they've tried, they've been going down trying to find options. But she's 15. She doesn't want to poop in a bag, send 3 poop samples off to a lab. And she chooses not to eat more times than not because she doesn't want to have diarrhea. But ironically, the little sister, the 10-year-old, is starting to present with, as we just kind of call it, as mom's tummy issues. But yeah, there's 4 girls in the family, and this is the second and then the 4th that are. But the 15-year-old is the one that we're really trying to figure out. So I wanted to share this.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. I think that it's really hard when we just say like, oh, they're having tummy issues, but then it's like, it's like, that's the basis of our existence, is how we build and renew, is how we digest food, right? One of the biggest ways. So it's really important, like you were saying, like they really want to get to it now and then also help their younger children. So it sounds like her kidneys are not filtering waste, and that she's got some deep gut injury, which is causing obviously like the diarrhea, but that could also be connected to a nervous system. Like how well her adrenals, so her adrenals and her kidneys are probably like more of the culprit. And then of course we all have gut injury because of the glyphosate. So if they can go 100% organic, do it. I would, because she's having that reaction in her mouth, that lends me to believe that her lymphatic system is just like so backed up with acids that when she eats something that is like, that's like her body is like reacting, because it's like trying to draw it out. It's like trying.
But it's like apples, right?
Yeah.
Like she eats apples and she has it. So it's not like goldfish, or Doritos or something like that. But like she's having, like, apples is the big one that they have watched. So, okay.
And that's okay. So she doesn't have to eat apples. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like she's right away, just focus on I would focus highly on fruits, obviously. And especially taking any dairy or gluten out of her diet is going to help her heal much faster than if she's still eating it, right?
Yep.
And then the meat, of course, because all of the when we eat meat, we only or any protein, like I would say low on the proteins for her, like in general, because when we eat any type of protein, we can only digest 11 to 17% of it. And then the rest goes in the lymphatic system or the digestive system to get rid of. And so it just is a lot of energy for our body to do. And it's a huge taxing on the kidneys. So the aminos are going to be super, super beneficial for her. Really beneficial. If you can get her to do a super cleanse are amazing. Like doing a full ULT with the kid shake.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she'll get the zinc aid in there. And then I would just be careful on you'll get an extra biomedic in there, but you have it in the kid shake twice a day. So I would maybe just save that right away.
There's 3 other girls in the family.
Yep.
Like in terms of like, there's a 18-year-old, she's 15. Yeah. There's 4 between like 6th grade to senior year in high school. So the second pack of biomedic can go to the other girls in the house.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So I would start there.
Okay.
I think that would be great for her. And then, it's like once we help the digest, I shouldn't say heal.
No healing.
Once we get
Repair.
once we get the repair in the digestive system, everything else comes back online, right? The mental health comes back, the long periods will shorten, it's like but she's probably got to do a little work, but starting at the ULT will be really beneficial for her.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome. All right. If anyone else is on here and wants to come off mute and ask me any specific questions, or we can close out. Okay, I'm going to stop recording. Thank you all for being here. It's really good to see you, and thanks for doing all your beautiful work. And
Dee, do you feel like you got all your questions answered? If she can hear me. It's okay. I'll text her.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yes.
Back.
I'm gonna keep texting you. Sorry.
It's all good.
Can I just
Right.
plug also, Mama, like just to keep taking care of you? And I don't know, you said 2 and 4-year-old, but